let's learn how to create the public and private subnets. So in AWS, when we create a virtual network called VPC, we divide it into smaller sections called subnets. So we have two subnets like public and private. Public subnet is a subnet where resources can connect to the internet through internet gateway. And for private subnet, it is isolated from the internet. So resources here do not have a route to the internet directly. So we usually place sensitive resources like database in private subnet so that they are secure and not exposed publicly. So if we want resources in private subnet to access the internet for update purpose, we will use a NAT gateway in the public subnet. So this will allows them to reach out to the internet but keeps the data protected from incoming traffic. So first log in to your management console and select the region. So I'm going with the Singapore region. And now click on VPC. So now let's create subnets. So click on subnets option and select create subnet. In VPC ID, we have to go with custom VPC and subnet. So we are going to create three subnets. So this is the first subnet. So the name of first subnet is custom VPC public 2 and select the availability zone. So I'm choosing 1B availability zone and the IPv4 VPC CIDR block has been given. And now let's create the subnet CIDR block. So 192.168.1.64/26. And in last we have add new subnet. So click on that. So this is the second subnet and give a name custom VPC private 1. So here I'm selecting the 1A availability zone, and here also we have to create the subnet CIDR block. We have to give a subnet CIDR block 192.168.1.128/26. Okay, so we need to create one more subnet. So click on add new subnet, and this is the last subnet, custom VPC. This is private. And here also I'm choosing the availability zone 1B, and the subnet CIDR block is 192.168.1.192/26. So this is the third subnet's CIDR block, and this is the second one, and this is the first one. So now click on create subnet. So after creating subnets, it will be by default it will be associated with the main route table. And now we have to enable the auto assign public IP for public 2. So select the custom VPC public 2 and in actions click on edit subnet settings. So we have to enable this option, auto assign auto assign IP settings. So enable this one and click on save. Now let's create the private route table. Click on route table just below the subnets and click on create route table. So give a name, custom VPC private route table. And here also we will select the custom VPC. And click on create route table. So now let's associate it with private subnets. So click on subnet associations and edit subnet associations. So here we have to select the two private subnets, that is custom VPC private 1 and custom VPC private 2. And then click on save associations. So now let's launch instance in public subnet with the public IP. Click on launch instance and we can give a name, Windows public. Select Windows and T2 micro in instance type. Select the existing key pair and in network settings click on edit. So in VPC we have to select the custom VPC, not the default one. So we have to select the custom VPC, and in subnet we have to choose the custom VPC public one. So this is the one, the public account one. And the auto assign public IP must be enabled, and then select the existing security group. So okay, now click on launch instance. So now we have launched the instance using the public subnet. Now let's create an instance using the private subnet without the public IP. So again click on launch instance and give a name, Windows private. And again select Windows and T2 micro instance type. Okay, let me create once again. Okay. So okay. Windows private and instance type is T2 micro. Select the existing key pair and select the custom VPC, and in subnet select private custom VPC private 1. And here it is disabled because it is a private subnet, and select the existing security group. Okay, now let's launch instance. So this one which I have created at first, I have terminated it because it's I have mistakenly chosen the T3 micro. So I have terminated the instance, and again I have created the public and private subnet. So now let's log into the public account. Click on connect and click on RDP client, get password, upload the private key file, decrypt password, and now open remote desktop. Okay, so now I need to check the security group whether I have allowed the RDP. So I have selected the public instance and click on security and click on the security groups. So I have not enabled the RDP. Click on edit inbound rules and add rule. Search for RDP and anywhere IPv4. save rules. Now again we can connect. Okay. Okay. Open remote desktop connection. Copy the public IP. Copy the username and the password. So in the right side, you can see the private IP address 192.168.1.62 and the public IP address. So it is here, the public IP address and the private IP address. So now in the virtual machine, let's log into the second, that is private IP, private subnet. So now within the instance, that is remote desktop, search for remote desktop connection and open it. So we always use the public IP here, but now we will copy the private IP. So we don't have the public IP for private instance. So there is no public IP. So let's copy the private IP and paste it over here and connect. So we'll get the password now. So this is the username and this is the password. So we can't access the private IP over the internet. So here it is 192.168.181, and this is the public IP, and this one is the private IP for the private instance. So let's check that we have checked the public instance. So now let's check the private instance 192.168.1.181. So 192.168.1.181. So this is how we will connect to the private instance, because we can't access the private subnet over the internet. So we will connect like this. So after creating it, we will terminate the both instance first. Okay, so we can use the subnets route table for the future purpose. So also check whether the any instance is running or not. Okay, thank you.